Warning: this video may contain vulgar language and adult content. If you are easily offended or are susceptible to events pertaining to death, gore, family troubles, or other potential threats, then know that viewer discretion is advised. Please be safe when viewing and stop the video if you need to. Safety is far more important to us than entertainment, so please enjoy your time here with us as we explore this fantasy world. Hello everyone! Welcome back to DoubleTime, where we create a story from two unintellectual minds.
Speak for yourself. No, it's true. It's definitely true.
I mean, if you're this far in, then you know how unintellectual we are. But
and if you've stopped by now, you know that's probably wise.
But please stay. Anyways, it's been a while since we played. Due to circumstances, time, and then everything that's going on in the world, it's been stressful, difficult to reposition ourselves. So we're back at it now. Before we kick things off, if you're ever interested in any tabletop RPGs, then you should check out RPGLeague at their website, because it has different content creators, product creators, as well as reviews to other tabletop RPGs like Star Wars, White Wolf, things like those. So check them out at their website at www.rpgleague.com, where you'll be able to find us and some other incredible creators. I highly recommend it. Where we last left off, Mason is we traveled the Underdark a little bit, explored the caves in search of what the Fire Giant's plan is, to establish what it is that we are actually here to accomplish. If it was to just slay all of them, which would be nigh impossible, or if it's to stop or thwart something that they might be accomplishing. Traveling down, finding several different winding paths in different intersections. They found a large forgery kind of place, an odd crescent-like room with magma pouring in slightly, and the large black armor-wearing fire giant that seemed to have authority over one, who mercilessly beat him to a pulp and then threw him into a pool of lava. Living quarters, obviously, but then they also found an obscure scene. They traveled down one path in particular and found themselves in a large expanse of a room. And this room delved into what seemed to be a conflict between fire giants and this black keep. Traveling to the keep, they found drow were in retaliatory force to these giants. Though most being mundane, it was established that the lava was very, very slowly pooling, and over the course of however long, the magma will overtake the keep and pour through into the other portions of the Underdark. Flying to the keep to establish some sort of agreement or hope, or just hope that they can join an alliance with the drow, they found themselves almost arrested, brought forwards to a ponytailed drow woman who stated that where they are stationed at is House Duskrin, one of the Underdark borders. So, and that's when we start off. Jester.
Yes. Hello.
You come to, back into consciousness, standing within a fairly dim room. It has some torches, though they're higher up onto the ceilings, and the immediate smell that kind of hits you is this kind of almost burned forest in a way. That ashy kind of smell kind of flumes into you. Fumes, not flumes. Fumes into this room. You are standing amongst 8 drow elven individuals. with the occasional sounds of just of rocks colliding with the outside walls that don't seem to be having any force behind them or any cost to their collision.
I see. Well, if it makes you feel any better, internally, I am more uneasy here than I was in hell, because in hell we had a purpose, and they weren't going to kill us for no reason. Well, they might. So.
They explicitly killed for no reason. What are you talking about?
No, we were the chosen one. We were marked by the dude who now has a desk. That's how I remember hell, anyway.
Blocking out all of the trauma.
Yep.
They were sending someone with us, right? Were they sending someone with us, or were we going alone? I don't remember.
I don't even know if we were told what we were doing.
We weren't. We were told to possibly find a way to stop the flow of the magma.
I see.
And as a result, then we would have good relations with them, essentially. And they would help aid us in what we potentially tasked.
Okay. I see ideas forming. Nah.
Well, you're standing in a room with 8 drow, one of them being the ponytailed individual, who's standing there kind of staring at the others, making sure that none of them's making a swift movement as they have their arms at their weapons, just in case of emergency. And one of them pitches in, "Ma'am, is this the proper decision that we should be following? We don't know this overruler."
I'm hurt that you would even suggest that I am not without honor. With honor. Without? Yes.
Honor does little in these circumstances, only your actions. So honor is something
either I'm a
pointless.
stupid fool who just turned myself over to you, or I actually came seeking some sort of aid.
Alright, how about the two of you stop bickering like small children? The ponytailed drow woman pitches in. We, as you may recall, need this magma to be solved urgently. We are holding our own in this arbitrary fight with the giants, but as a result we are locked down, and you flew in to the city, or into our keep, so you have free access.
I suppose, until I get sniped out of the air, but it's a sacrifice and a risk, I guess, that I have to take.
Indeed. Nothing we would be able to accomplish there. Do you have some sort of strategy to stopping or halting this flow? You spoke of an odd room and a portal, if I remember, somewhere that they were drawing lava from.
Mayhaps. Not entirely sure of the purpose of the room, but it's there, yes. Might be a good place to start. I could also close these pouring vents.
That would buy us more time, I'm sure. But unless fully stilted, it will eventually pour through again.
Yes.
Buying more time is still better than nothing.
Exactly. I'll start there, and then I will see if I can uncover anything else.
This room is rather large, so there's many different outcroppings. Maybe something is accessible through it. There are some that are just full tunnels pouring out lava, but there are maybe some that are more crest, allowing you space and coverage to go above.
I see. You must have maps and such of these tunnels. I assume you've been down here for quite a long time.
These magmatic tunnels have been new We only recently, over the course of maybe a month or two, have had issues with them. They initially weren't starting anything, so we sent some. I can tell you the ones that now are currently plumed with magmatic substance. It led to nowhere, almost like it was stone the entire way till the end. So they may have formed something at the ends of it. I'm not too sure.
Interesting. I don't quite like that hypothesis, but, might be what they've done.
It's the best we can do, especially considering we can't send any of our forces out into where the giants are dwelling. They have much more substantial mass and force behind them than us. We have our positioning, but they have the power. So we were not able to expand our view beyond this room.
Why not collapse the cave?
Do you understand what the collapse of an Underdark passage would have? It's as
Absolutely not.
It's as if closing down bridges to mainlined cities. The moment the cave is collapsed, outer forces and aid amongst different civilizations down in the Underdark would be inaccessible. Famine would rise, and creatures would gain more substantial benefit than us.
I see. So that's a no to collapsing the cave then. Got it. Alright, I will go see what I can find. Maybe I can slow it down. And then I will come back, I guess, eventually.
I recommend coming back when you have something substantial. Not coming back just to report, as there is nothing from our standpoint that will be able to aid you unless you find something.
What if I just want a high five?
I would not like your waste of time, including this conversation.
I high-five myself and I just turn to leave.
As you turn to leave, the one that was kind of bickering with you, draws his blade and puts it directly in front of the steps to the top of the parapet. The mistress did not finish speaking to you, Overdweller. Krinta, it is fine. Does not know our ways as he's allied with these, or he's met with the dwarven culture. Let him pass.
I must say the dwarves are even less friendly than you, which is quite the accomplishment.
Don't compare us to them. They are mere dribble. We have the intellect and the substantial knowledge of these caves in the Underdark. They're nothing more than ants bothering a king.
I see. I assume you have nothing else for me.
No. I suggest moving swiftly. If the giants do witness you, they may decide to halt what they're doing. During that point, we will do what we can, I suppose, in annoying them, but that's the best we would be able to give to you.
I see. Well, have fun protecting the castle, I guess, this keep. I will be off.
They go back to doing their business, and the three that were up, that you essentially were brought down willingly by, they start following you back up. The one that was bickering with you stays down in the room. So you're just traveling up to the top of the parapet?
Yep, I got nowhere else to be.
Okay, yep. When you get up to the top of the parapet, you can still see same number of giants still hurling some boulders, and you can see them almost exploding into dust and just rubble the moment they collide, but leave no markings, just almost like the rocks themselves are just exploding upon contact.
What is this keep made of?
Well, it's made of the finest and most difficult to obtain obsidian-like material. It's less obsidian and more magically enchanted, however. We have a repulsing force that's meant to dwell away excursions such as this. That's why we're higher up into the wall.
I see. Impressive.
At this point, they draw some bows and arrows. They start giving some orders to each other, and they just go back into casually, basically firing some arrows at the giants and annoying them.
This is the most relaxed defense of a siege I've ever seen. And let me tell you, we've seen quite a few sieges in the past.
I mean, yeah, we had a siege of our own, in fact, where we brought hell to the plains.
I must say the the stakes are not very high here. Well, I guess I just take off.
Just taking off? Okay.
I will attempt to stick near the ceiling of the cave.
Ceiling of the cave?
Stay mostly out of their range.
Okay. Make a stealth check with advantage because of the distance, your size, and then they're distracted by throwing boulders.
Good. Yes. Yes. Oh yes, that is 21.
Okay, yeah, easily enough. They don't even notice you like a fly buzzing around. You are floating just where to like look at some possible outcroppings where the lava might be pouring in. What is your plan here?
I'm going to attempt to get closer to one of the more, I would say, aggressive outcroppings, where all the lava seems to be coming from.
A fair amount of it.
One of the larger ones. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the ones that is just like fully expanding or like fully expunging magma, not one that has like the slight incline in the walls, essentially.
Yeah, one that's just like shitting out a fuck ton of it.
Okay, yeah. You can find there is a column of it that seems to be pouring from a very specific portion in probably about from your entrance, the other entrance that's not behind the giants. It's approximately a bit in the middle of the room, I'll say. So it's kind of pouring out a fair amount. The hole itself seems to be probably 3 feet in diameter, and it's just pouring out like a fountain would.
I see. I don't have anything for this. Anna, would you be so willing as to tell me if you have anything that might be able to close this, even briefly?
I do. Though, is it something that you can use, is the question.
Probably not.
Well, I can grant you access to it for the day. And
If you would be so kind.
She will, using the split mind feature. So there goes that. You have access to her 4th level spells and spell slots, which we have one of.
Very good.
And of those, you can cast Banishment, Locate Creature, Stone Shape, and yeah, that's it. The other ones are ritual spells. Oh no, you can also cast Arcane Eye and Confusion.
Very good. Stone Shape was the one that I was looking for. Because I'm
Yes.
definitely not going to confuse this magma.
You're gonna send an Arcane Eye to float through it.
Oh yes, that'll be very good. I'll be able to see everything.
I will banish the lava.
Actually, that's an interesting point. Holding on to that for later.
I said it as a joke, and in the middle of me saying, I was like, that actually sounds like it could be a useful idea. I actually jotted it down myself. I was like, I can cast Arcane Eye at a higher level and just do that myself. Let's go with that. Okay, so you're casting Stone Shape, and you're just gonna basically gonna enclose it within its 5 feet, yeah?
Yep, just like a vice, just close the crevice.
Okay, yeah. You place your hand onto the stone, and the moment you kind of do that split mind where you have that image of Anna holding out her tome, and this flowing energy just like that washing down your neck into your palm. You can see the stone just, and they clamp together. You just start hearing pooling, but you don't see any lava starting to peek through even remotely. It's like it's a solid, just flattened out surface.
Nice. It'll slow it down for a bit, I guess.
Well, you also know that it's a 5-foot cube that you essentially affect. So you've created a 5-foot gap of solid stone.
I suppose I don't know what the pressure is like on this stuff.
You
might hold forever then.
You also don't know when it'll stop.
That too.
So, once the lava starts to kind of like stop pouring out and it just kind of like viscously pours onto the ground, you start to notice that some of the giants are looking up at this now stopping flow of lava that's pouring in from the ceiling.
I'm not here.
I mean, you said you rolled a 21 for stealth?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't see you. They look up, they start speaking in giant, which you have no knowledge of and can not at all understand. And it's just like, and they just start, and one of them actually goes off towards one of the exits, while the other two, because there was 3 in total, or was there 4 in total? There were the number of them that are left. They sent one. They start picking up more boulders, and this time they're throwing them with more anger behind their throws. It doesn't seem to be doing anything more, but they just start pelting the keep, making more sound.
Good, exhaust yourselves, you foolish giants. Yes, all part of my master plan. Oh.
So, what's your plan now? There's still plenty of, like, pourings, but this seems to be, like, the most major one.
I see.
There's some that have, like,
so
there's some that have, like, a smaller amount that's pouring out. There's some that have what seem to be, like, a waterfall of magma pouring out that has the outcropping above it. Due to the lighting from the magma as well, you can see that it stands probably about, like, a good 3-foot gap between the magma and ceiling on those portions. Tight fit, and really dangerous. But yeah, that's what you can see. There's plenty of those, and a few more fully just cylindrical pourings. Not in the ceiling, but in the walls that kind of dribble out.
I see. Okay. I have a wild idea. I'm gonna fly over to one of the other outcroppings.
The full dribbles or the one that has the 3-foot gap?
Either one, I suppose. Whichever one's closer. Doesn't really matter.
Being in the ceiling, it would probably be closer to one that's, because you can tell that the ones that are full, like cylindrical ones, are typically up higher than the other ones. These ones seem to be a little bit lower, like they were possibly other caves that might have been repurposed. You're not necessarily too sure, but these ones are definitely higher in the air, out of sight and out of reach from supposedly anything that can't, fly or dig. So,
all right.
But yeah, you go to one of the fully dribbled ones.
I pull out one of the.
Yep, it's not a session of double time until I forget to start the timer.
Nice. Nicely done.
Let's see here. We've been going for probably 20 minutes.
I'd say that, yeah.
We've been recording for 25, so yeah, I'm just going to set a timer for 40 minutes. There!
Nice. Nicely done.
Nailed it. Okay. So, yep, you go over to one of them. You can just kind of hear just going...
That's a pleasant sound. Please never do that again. I pull out one of the those purple evocation rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I hold it in both hands, and I kind of just stick one end into the magma stuff. Not all of it, just like the tip.
The tip of those purple evocation rocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one of them.
So you place it inside of it, and you kind of see magma is just kind of flowing. It's flowing a little bit more. Keeps going. Nothing seems to be happening after about 10 seconds of just dipping the end of it into it.
That's nice. Well, this is covered in fucking magma now, and that's not going back in the bag.
Yeah, the tip is pretty warm. You can see it sizzling and also kind of slightly discolored in comparison to the remaining purple, because the color is already kind of fading from it as well. But this definitely looks like it just basically ate away at the end of it.
I see. Very good. I guess I'll just drop it, because we have 4 more.
You drop it into the magma, or you just drop it?
I'll just drop it beside it, or, like, throw it away.
Yeah, alright, you toss it. When you throw it, it seems to collide with the ground with a fair amount of force, and you just see a bright purple kind of explosion emanate. Nothing dangerous to you, but it definitely rang out, and you can see the giants look over. They don't see anything, and then they go back to picking up rocks and chucking.
God, they're so fucking stupid. Luckily for me. Okay.
You then quickly recall that Anna threw one from above the dwarven settlement into the bottom where the giants were, and it exploded as well.
This shall be our calling card, yes.
What are we, phantom thieves here?
Entirely possible.
I mean, we are one person. Anyways. So what are you doing?
I guess I want to go back sneakily to that room where the lava just seemed to be pooling in. There was nothing else going on in there.
Okay, so the one that's to the right of where we first started?
Oh my god, I don't remember. Sure.
It's all in the notes. It's all in the notes.
It is. Oh yes, of course. Definitely. Mm-hmm.
See, it says right. Large, spacious room, crescent land with a pool magma substance.
This is just a run-on sentence. There's no periods or anything in this.
No, it's underneath. It says right. Large, spacious room, crescent land with pool magma substance.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes. My notes are flawless.
Oh yes, of course.
You didn't put a space between that.
I did not.
So you're gonna make your way there?
Yep.
Okay. Just looking at all my notes as well to remember where everything is and what would be occurring. Alright. So leaving the room, you don't need to make a stealth check because you're fucking nowhere near them. They're not going to see you, and frankly, it would be hella impossible for them to do that. So, you make your way down the passage. You come to that Y intersection when you travel down the left side of the room, and going forwards, you hear some grunting, just Gumkar Isan Kar Na Gan Iskal Kuchkata Mulnach. You can just hear more dragon speech. No, you hear more giant ahead of you.
Very good. Very, very, very good. I'll like straight ahead of me or like around a corner or...
It's straight ahead of you. You're about 50 feet till you reach that intersection. From your knowledge of this room, because you only have... Do we even have dark vision? I don't think we have dark vision. We have
goggles of night vision.
Yes, we have. So we have 60 feet of dark vision, so you can see like the entrance to that intersection, but that's about it. And you can hear it probably like around the corner of it, but it's basically blasting towards you.
I see. I'll be extra careful then.
Okay.
Maybe it would be better to be on the floor because their heads are near the ceiling.
I don't know. You could try.
Do they look at their feet often as they walk?
No. You get the impression that they walk like normal. They're not looking for small rocks to step on.
Very good.
They're walking.
I will hide at the bottom near where the floor meets the wall.
Okay. So you're basically hiding in like the crevice of a wall.
Yeah, it's kind of slither in there.
Yeah. I mean, you're like what, 6 foot something? Do you look?
I
at
could
your
be
feet?
even shorter.
Do you look at? Well, I'm talking about you, Mason.
I mean, occasionally, if I'm walking.
You just stare at your feet to make sure.
If I've like stepped in something, maybe.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, you're kind of just like tucked away in the corner, sidling your way through, keeping a general close eye out for any large shadowy figures that might show up in your dark vision. Like a looming shadow in the dark. But no, what happens is as you're traveling, you get to that white intersection, and in the same general place where you heard where you saw it's in the direction of that throne type of area, that other fire giant that was sitting on a house acting like a throne.
Oh yes, of course.
You hear footsteps coming from that direction, some kind of muttering giant. Just some muttering giant taking steps in your direction.
Well, he sounds like he's having a great time. I'll just kind of hide in the corner and pretend I don't exist.
Okay, make a stealth check. With advantage because it's dark.
They're not going to see me. That's even better. That's 24.
Yeah, no, this is definitely more based off of like sound. But as far as you can tell, you don't know if they have dark vision or not. Seems like they might. You're not too sure. But like kind of like hiding off to the side, you barely like duck behind part of the corner, and you can see this the fire giant with the flames kind of illuminating his head and parts of his armor and stuff like that, walking in the direction to the resting quarters where there was several fire giants resting and sleeping. Behind him, you hear some more footsteps, but they're a little bit more faint and probably gonna take some time to get over to you. But you can probably barely tell that he seems a little bit bruised in some portions of his head. And when he's kind of grunting and muttering under his breath, you can see some missing teeth inside of his mouth.
Like, are they... okay.
But that's what you see, and then he walks past you towards the to the resting quarters.
I make note of that, but there's many possibilities. As he goes by, I slither across the floor to keep going.
Snake jester slithers across the ground. No, you just easily enough though, you skirt past, make your way down towards your normal passage, and after some time you come to that other intersection. There's the path to your left directly in front of you, and then to the right where you can see was a small like explosion, singe mark, and a few other things. You can basically tell that to the right of you is where you started.
I see. In that case, I will go left.
Okay. Going left, you have to go about like 100 feet forwards, and you start hearing the clangings of metal and hammer, just ting, ting, ting. And eventually it comes to a 90-degree turn, and you can see a lot of fire giants seem to be preparing armaments, weaponry, tools, a lot of metal work in this forge-like area.
Damn it, I'm lost. I wish these notes were legible.
You get that Anna makes very good mental notes that help her, maybe not others.
This is not helpful. Great. I will return.
Okay, so you leave. There's no notice to you or anything. As you leave, you can hear some footsteps to the right of you. They're far off and they're echoing, so you imagine they're probably in that other intersection.
All right, Anna, quit fucking around. How do I get to where I need to be?
Where are you trying to go?
Trying to find where that giant pool of that lava stuff is, you know? And there's that beach.
That's,
you know?
That's to your left.
Is it? I thought that's where we came in.
No, that's directly in front of you.
What's to my right?
That's where you came from the other intersection.
You don't know that.
I do. I have very good, legible mental notes.
I go left.
Going left, you do in fact find a fairly large, spacious room. The only thing that's in here is that crescent of land and kind of like glassy sand-like texture with the pool of magma and the rest of it.
All right. Well, we were told to come here, and I said I'd come here. I don't really have anything to do here. What do you propose? You're the smart one here, Anna.
I don't know. I don't know what this is. We have no substance or evidence of it. But
do we have any like food or anything like meat related on us?
Meat related? I don't believe we do. We have rations. We've no, I don't believe we have any meat-based food.
Then I guess there's only one thing to do. Hold up my hand. Curl all my fingers in except for my pinky. I kiss it.
Wait, we have an incubus wing.
Why do we have this?
We gave only one to, I forget his name. The one that gave us our wings.
The man who's been there for years? How could I forget?
I'm forgetting his name for some reason. But, we only gave one. It was Travis. But we have an incubus wing. It's organic.
Close enough. I pull up the wing.
Okay. Rather than literally singe off a pinky.
I play with it a little bit. I like shake it and watch it as it unfolds and then refolds and unfolds. And
it's you can tell that there's the coagulated blood from where it was ripped off. So when you kind of like open and close it, you can hear like crunching and breaking off of really raw and just crusted over blood particles, and it just kind of collapses onto the ground. But it does open and close fine. It's very leathery for where the wing actually is, but the rest of it seems to be fleshy and has substance.
I hate it. Thanks. I stick it in the lava.
Okay. Throwing it into the lava. It comes into contact, melts, and starts to sizzle, burn away. You can see some of the leather is just immediately engulfed into flame, and just the leather itself is gone, and whatever fleshy bits are there are instantly just plunged into the magma. It begins to pour, or not pour, but it begins to delve deeper and deeper until it's out of sight, and you start seeing like very small, faint bubbling almost from where it was, where every time one of the bubbles pop, this puff of smoke just kind of washes into the room. Then it stops.
It's unhelpful. That debunks my theory, I think. Maybe.
Make a perception check.
Okay. I'm really good at these. Smile. That's not bad. That's 14.
14. Okay, you hear two things. You can hear several footsteps that are echoing in the chamber behind you. It's hard to ascertain with what you rolled which direction they're coming from or which direction they're going, but there's easily maybe 6 or 7 different sets of steps in the chamber behind you.
That's
thick, heavy ones.
Whoa.
The other thing that you notice, after the room kind of settled and that smoke pooled into the ceiling, you start to see some more bubbling. In the center of the crescent area.
Like bubbling in a bad way? Like bubbling like one of those dudes appeared out of the lava? Like that kind of bubbling?
You're starting to see some recollection of it. It's possible. The bubbling isn't violent. It's not extreme. But you can definitely tell that it's noticeably getting more and more ferocious.
I will very carefully and very quickly hide somewhere. Maybe not even entirely in the room, like in the hall maybe.
Okay, so you're gonna hide in the hall some?
Yeah.
The hall itself is also expansive because of the fact that these are fire giants traveling. So when you kind of like go and hide into the wall, you're looking around, you're not seeing like an alcove or anything, but you can hide yourself up against the wall. Do you want to be close enough to be able to keep an eye view of the lava?
That would be ideal.
Okay, you would have to stay somewhat closer then, because if you go too far out, then the vision will only show you the beachy, kind of glassy sand texture.
I see. Okay.
So, staying relatively closer, you're still hidden. Make a stealth check.
17.
17, okay. The footsteps behind you are still echoing, and it's very difficult to ascertain what they're doing, where they're going, and just all in all, what is going on behind you, apart from the fact that there are many footsteps. The bubbling gets more violent, and then the bubbling kind of subsides, and you hear and just cresting into your view, you can see this. Hold on, let me get my book out. It's different than what you had seen. It's not that skeletal figure that had those flaming blades and hovered in the air. This one seems to have crawled out of the magma. It's is this what it is? No, that's probably... No, that's not what it is. Fuck, I don't remember what these things are. They're like... It basically looks like... I'm gonna go improv on this one. It has the same kind of physique that you would see in a small, slightly overweight child, almost.
Is it Krishnov?
It is not impish, but it could be compared to it, as its size is still relatively the same size as an imp. But when it crawls out, like magma just kind of washes off the arms, pours out of some of the rocky texture that it has. Its eyes and cracked mouth have flames that just kind of slightly engulf above where their opening is. So this looks like a creature that is comprised of flame and stone.
I'm now picturing a giant stone flaming baby, thank you.
I mean, it's not very large, it's the size of an imp.
This doesn't... I'm disturbed.
What are you doing?
Observing it, I guess. I got nothing else to do.
Okay. As you're watching it, it looks around. You can tell that it just kind of like whips its head left and right, confused, almost angry in a way. It's just starting to look around, clasping its hands at opening in the air, and as you do, you can see bits of magma pouring out of the palms and clasping its hands together. That's what happens when I try to combine words by accident. God, I cannot find what this thing is. But it's after some time, it just stops. It stands stoic. Arms go down into its body, and it begins to just turn around and walk back into the lava.
Okay, before it does that, I'm going to pelt it with a little bit of spicy magic here.
Okay.
First level guiding bolt, I guess.
First level guiding bolt. Okay, you have advantage because he's not seeing this coming. Go ahead and roll to hit.
I think that's it. Oh yes, 25. Will a 25 hit?
You know, yeah, I can very clearly tell that a 55 or a 25 is going to hit. A 55 also would hit. But yes, you do hit.
Yes, but never mind. Well, it's all twos and a 4. That's that's 10 points of radiant damage.
10 points of radiant damage?
Yes.
Okay. So it slides in, collides with it, and when it does, you can see it just completely breaks off a portion of the stone and rocky self and just kind of cracks into it, breaking apart, and this light begins to flow into the flames and almost engulfs over them, but you can see the flames, its eyes, and the light kind of flames off. You can still see that residue over them that gives your alternate effect due to the magic, but it still lives and its eyes completely shoot towards you. Just roll a quick initiative.
Very good. I'll take that. Quick initiative, you say? That would be a total of 20.
All right, you're going first. You can see like the cracked stone is slowly starting to like reform ever so slowly, but it's not substantial.
I don't like this thing. I'm not gonna get close to it either. I'm gonna do a third level guiding bolt.
Third level guiding bolt. Okay.
I don't have anything ranged.
Alright, go ahead and roll to hit.
18.
This one without advantage. 18 does hit.
Do I have any more D6? Nope.
What is it, 8d6 or something?
66. I don't have an extra D6 here. 6, 10, 15, 17, 19 points of radiant damage.
19 points of radiant damage. This time as it collides with it, it gets, as some of the stone is starting to reform in its abdomen, your next guiding bolt collides with it. Also, it actually would have been an advantage anyways, because you had guiding bolt on it.
Let me roll for crit. Nope.
Okay. It didn't matter because he's dead. So it hits him right in the abdomen and just... The flames itself explode outwards and this thick coating of magma just pools at the bottom of where it was, and it slinks slowly, burning outwards onto the ground. But it is dead.
Unpleasant. What an unpleasant demon child.
I found out what these things are finally. You can make a history or a Arcana check.
What do I add to rolls?
For those, I'm pretty sure -1s.
Oh yes, of course. Let me see here. That is a 16.
Oh. You can ascertain that was definitely an elemental creature. Much lesser than what you had previously fought, but this one was slightly bolstered by something. Generally, the creature itself, you would know them as magmins. They are some of the more mischievous elementals that was sculpted to be more humanoid, but with a shell of just black magma.
You know, I've never actually looked at this page before. I am disturbed by what I see. That is just a gigantic, fiery demon baby.
Yeah, it is. I knew the description of it, I just didn't know the page. It's like, I got the description on point.
But when it died, did it explode?
that was what was the magma exploding outwards and pooling at the bottom.
Very good. Excellent, I hate it.
But,
well, I'm disturbed now, Anna.
With that, you start hearing a rush of footsteps behind you.
Fuck, back into the corner we go.
They are definitely running towards you. You can tell, because there's 3 of them. There's 3 sets of footprints, or foot stomping. You hear the clanging of some metals just... And you're trying to stealth in that corner?
Yep.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
Okay. 21.
20. So as you're watching, you can see 3 entities emerge in the light as this room is lit due to the heat from the magmatic source. You notice that one that was sitting on the throne is rushing towards you with 2 others behind him. One of them is that bruised, one of the teeth missing, or several of the teeth missing from inside his mouth, is running into this room. The moment they kind of emerge outwards, the one in the metal stops for a second. Stops before you. Takes a few steps back. Says something in giant that you're incomprehensible to understand. Just... And he points forwards into the room. The 2 fire giants beside him start taking steps forwards, passing you, walking into the room, as he just stands there.
Uh-oh. Okay.
What are you doing?
We still have our cloak charge, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I don't have to worry about this then. I will, watch to see what the 2 do who entered the room.
Okay. As they enter the room, they're looking forwards. They look, searching the room. They look in all different, like, crevices. They slightly move their palms on top of the glassy sand. You can hear it almost move. Just doesn't have that sand kind of sound like a pouring from an hourglass. It's definitely as if something just broke that was made of glass. Going up to the new, slightly magma source that's there, they look at it, both start to converse something into giant, just... And they just converse for a little bit. They stand back up. One of them rubs his head with their fingers. And he takes his hands and starts to push what was the magman creature. Using his hands, you can see it's kind of burning slightly as he's sliding it across. It doesn't seem like it's actually injuring him, but the skin that's on his hands just kind of push this in, and you can see he's pushing in glassy substance. It doesn't seem like he's trying to basically put whatever this magma creature was back into the pool.
I see. Interesting.
After that moment, the other one walks over to the large, black metalled giant. They start whispering, or they start speaking in giant once again, and you can hear the sound, because this took like a few minutes and there was no movement of anything. So you hear the sound of a horrifying screech, something you have not heard in a very, very long time. And you recognize it as a draconic screech. Very powerful, ringing out into the rooms, and just emanating, echoing outwards, reverberating. And none of the giants seem to move. They don't react to it.
I am displeased by this turn of events and this revelation.
What's your... Are you proficient in medicine, by chance?
Probably not, no. The answer is no.
The answer's no? Okay, never mind that.
Okay. Very good.
No, this... I would have used your passive medicine for this, but if you're not proficient in it, you're not going to have a high enough passive medicine.
I had dumb. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, medicine's wisdom-based, so...
I mean, I've got +3.
Yeah. No, you needed a 15, so...
Fine.
After some more conversing, the three of them turn back and calmly leave.
Okay. Well, that is unhelpful. So it looks like if they throw stuff in, like organic stuff, and then those little shits come out. But you bothered to return it, which is weird. And there's now dragons involved, which is ideal. Let's just throw the fucking cherry on this shit sundae, shall we? Well, I got nothing else to do in here now. I guess I will follow them.
You're gonna follow them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keeping your stealth score, we'll just say, since it was like a 25.
21.
I thought 21 was for the other one. Doesn't matter.
I mean,
it's super high. It's super high, and these people are not going to see you regardless, or hear you. So, skulking behind them, you can tell that they get into that Y intersection. The one with the several bruises goes back forwards towards the direction that you came from the other intersection. I'll say that's towards the keep. He starts going into the direction towards that keep.
Thank you.
Probably a little bit easier. And the other two turn left, going towards where you first entered this area.
Interesting. Well, I assume, though, the big dude's going to go back to his chair. I don't think he'd do
The big dude's going back towards where you first started. The one that has several of the bruises and missing teeth is going forwards towards going towards the keep. The one
in that case, I'll follow the armored dude.
Okay. Following him and his accompaniment, they do not speak, but they continue to travel forwards to the point of where they pass where you kind of start. So when you first started, there was 2 passages that you could have gone through, and and Anna had followed the one. So you're going towards the other half of what you assume is this expanse of catacombs.
Okay.
Going forwards for a lot longer than it took in the alternative side. This one travels forwards, and the walls themselves actually expand slightly as you're going further in. What was about 20 feet in width for these tunnels is now expanding outwards to being 30, and then expanding out to being 40 feet. And it kind of caps off at 40 feet. Going forwards, you're traveling nearly over 1,000 feet. You're traveling for a very long time in comparison to the others. All the while traveling, there's no sound apart from the footsteps.
Okay.
Traveling forwards, you come to a T intersection once again. To your left and right, you can actually see, however, as the two pairs continue to go forwards, or the one pair began to go forwards regardless. To your left and right, you can see more pools of that magmatic substance. They travel inwards about 20 feet, and then the light that emanates from them is vast. You need to get closer to those to actually examine the room, because that's based off of just going off the lighting and seeing the slight shimmer of that magmatic substance. So you don't necessarily know what's in those rooms, but you can tell that there are pools of that magmatic substance in it.
Okay.
Traveling forwards, you get to a point where you take a slight curvature. It's almost like you're going upwards and into like a spiral, slightly. It goes upwards slowly and slowly and slowly until you rotate nearly twice. All the while being inconsequential in noise making, and compared to these giants, they don't notice you whatsoever. You get to the top, and almost like a glowing globe inside of this room, the walls are etched with red, vein-like light. The ground has these etchings of markings, runic markings that you aren't too sure of, as it's in a non-native language to you. It seems to be written in Giant. There are 3 currently black-suited fire giants resting atop of what look to be obsidian or black-like stoned thrones, genuine thrones. These 3 look different than the one that went into this room. Their armor seems almost ornate and crafted over the course of eons in comparison to the other fire giant that stands next to you. Well, near you. I doubt you're standing directly next to him. But,
What if I am, huh?
These things aren't the first to catch your eye, however. Dangling from what looks to be a floating sphere, 120 feet into the air in the center of the room, is this massive red dragon. It's slamming into the orb with extreme force. You can hear the sounds of impacts coming from it, reverberating inside the room, but nothing budges. The giants give no sway, no reaction, apart from shouting amongst each other in this giant's speech. And eventually, the dragon lets out this massive engulfment, just engorges its throat and spews this massive spray of flames and molten substance into the sphere, into the walls around it, and it just coats the inside of it, and you can see the veins pulse. The veins pulse, and the flame is almost just immediately dissipated, and the magmatic substance is gone.
I am displeased.
Would you like to maintain control?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I got no idea where the fuck you're going with this, and I don't want to ruin it.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Alright. Well, it doesn't matter what I roll, because a tie goes to you anyways. So, the dragon violently collides with the walls, letting out this spew of flame, and over the course of almost several minutes, it grows tired, lets out a vicious scream, similar to what you had heard before, except magnified, as if it's standing next to you. In those moments, the black-suited, I'm going to call the dwarf that you had seen sit on a house throne, the black-suited one. And I'm going to call these other ones black metal.
Okay.
So black suit is the house throne, black metal, or ornate metal giants is the three sitting on the actual throne seats.
The actually imposing ones, those guys.
Yeah, the ones that you fear being in this room. Not that you don't fear everything else that's going on, but you get some more fear coming from these entities. The remainder of the room doesn't seem to give off anything else. There's more speech that talks about in giant, so you're unable to comprehend it. And it gets more heated. There's screaming from the three, and the screaming echoes throughout the room. It vibrates into you, almost like you're being pushed back from their voice. In that moment, you can see the black-suited giant kneel, and the other one completely grovels onto the ground, puts both knees down, slams its head into the ground, and is putting its hands forwards in a dominated position.
That's right, you filthy beta.
I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh. Okay, that's, oh yeah, 21.
21? Okay. The words that hit you, even though they're incomprehensible, this imposing presence almost washes over you. It begins to affect your mind, and almost like you're about to obey a command that you don't understand. And you very narrowly avoid it. Just... It knocks the wind out of you, and it progresses further and further until you wash off that effect.
I see. Great.
The one that's in the center of these three stands up from its throne, stepping forwards towards the black-suited giant. Slowly comes to the front of him, grabs him by the flaming hair, and just lifts him up into the air. Lifts him into the air, just a few inches off the ground. He shouts once again directly into his face. You can see spittle and just shouts. The face itself is almost vibrating from the force that it's coming at, like it's being pushed by a wind tunnel. Again, in giant, so you're incomprehensible. And he lets go. The one collides onto the ground, falling onto his back. He says something in giant to the one that's groveling, and that one stands up and hauls ass out of the room. The one in the black metal goes back to its throne, sits down, rests a palm onto the side, and the argument seems to diffuse. The one that's in the black suit stands up, gives a kneel, says something in giant. The other three nod, and he leaves. Are you following him, or are you staying here?
Staying here.
Staying here? There's more... Oh, what are you trying to do?
This dragon, it's... Explain its cage to me.
So, what it is there seems to be a complete... Because the dragon itself has a massive wingspan, but it seems like it's too enclosed to fully outstretch its wings. That's floating in the center of this 120-foot kind of diameter room. It's a massive just dome-like room. And floating in the center towards the ceiling, about 30 feet from the ceiling, it's encapsulated inside of its own fully... it's like a perfect sphere that has encapsulated this dragon.
I see. And the dragon itself is like extremely large, so this room must be gigantic then.
Oh yeah, the room is large. The room is expansive. It's possibly a little bit smaller than the room that has the keep, but at least it's half the size of that. So this room is big.
So for the sake of argument, little cheeky smile here, how far away would you say the dragon's sphere is from me?
From you? Putting in angles. The other room was about like 1,000 feet to get to one end to the other. This is about half that. Take the angle. It's probably roughly about 700 to 800 feet away from you.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's far.
Well,
no,
far
sorry.
enough.
No, sorry. It is less than that. But if it's that, it's like 500 feet from you.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. You're not gonna like this, but
Well, are you maintaining control?
Gonna have to. I really want this to work.
All right. I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 4.
Well, good sir, you get another 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. What are you gonna try?
Dimension door into the sphere.
Into the sphere.
Yep.
Okay. Let me pause real quick, so that way I can look up something. Trying to figure out what spell this is again. Is it not in this one? It might be in... Oh no, there it is. Let me see quick. Okay, so you focus on it and you wave the cloth and you feel like the energy isn't expended. You get this feedback almost like where you're trying to focus on doesn't function as an existable place. You focus inwards again and you wave it once again and you feel that magic stave itself back.
You foiled my plan. How dare you? Fine.
I don't know what you were going to try to do going into a sphere with a dragon, but we could talk about that later. What are you doing?
I guess now I will follow the one dude.
Okay. Going down this spiraling kind of room, or it's not steps, it's just like an incline, so kind of going down, you almost feel like you could slide, but going down the spiral, you get to... You're trying to catch up with him, not taking too much of your time. It's not hard to do, especially if you just go a little bit faster. You catch up to him, and he seems disgruntled and fearful when you approach. He has his hands shaking. He's very vigilant in his current state. He's checking every corner when he takes the turn, checks left and right when he gets to the intersections. He's, at this point, gone paranoid. But that's what you see. He continues. He seems to be going back towards the... he goes in the direction where you started from.
See if I can get his attention.
How do you do that?
I mean, the horrible idea would be to fly up to him and like poke him in the face and he'd just like crush me. I don't know, just yell, I guess.
Okay. What do you say?
Hello? He can't understand me anyway, I don't think. If he can, he hasn't spoken common. So maybe? I don't know. I just yell at him.
Are you trying to hide? Or are you just saying this? You're just saying it? Okay.
Yep.
So, saying it out loud, he looks around, looks back.
Down here. Wave my arms.
Looks down to you. In comparable size, he's easily 4 times taller than you. 4 to 5 times. It's hard to average with his immense height.
I wave.
Intruder. Why? I will not allow this insolent. You come into our domain and threaten us in your own existence. You mortals on the overruling world. I will crush you.
Roll initiative.
Well, fine. Diplomacy out the window. I didn't even do anything. 8!
So you still go first. So what do? You can see he's going to draw a weapon. He's like reaching down for it, looking at you quizzically.
I fly up to meet him, I guess. Eye to eye. I'll stay a little fair distance away so I'm not within grabbing range.
Okay, so like 10 feet?
Sure.
15 feet?
I don't wish to fight.
You've come into our home. Why?
I was sent to see why things have escalated so poorly on the surface. Nothing more.
You come because of your own problems. They have nothing to do with us.
Judging by your conversation, you also have problems, am I right?
An entity upon the surface would have no knowledge of what we do. Do not assume that you understand. These are the ways of our old kin, our ancient kind.
I don't pretend to understand. I'm just stating.
He will take a swing.
Very good.
Will a 23 hit?
Impose disadvantage on that bad boy.
Okay. It's plus what? Because this one is definitely way worse. I just don't remember what their plus is.
Plus 11.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I wasn't too sure. I threw out 26 because I figured it didn't matter. He rolled a natural 15. He would have hit you regardless, whatever the plus was. But with only a plus 11, does a 15 hit?
I mean, still might.
I don't think
it doesn't.
15 hit.
It does not.
No, we've got armor class of 20. So it comes in, and as you say, I'm not here to fight. I don't claim to understand. I was just making a statement. The blade comes out, and it's this massive greatsword with this thick flames that pool at the blade's edges. And as he goes to swing, you can see it in your face just morph slightly into this disturbingly flame, hellish face, and it stops him.
If you are not here to fight, then why are you here to begin with in our home?
Are you trying to retain concentration? Nope. All right. Well. Good. The not charismatic one is going to talk to this dude now.
I don't have that much charisma either.
I have literally... I mean, no, that's right. I am a little bit more persuasive than you. I have a 4 in persuasion.
Well, look at you.
Alright. Yeah, good. Great. Grand. What the hell was your plan with that dragon?
Well, I intended to get into the sphere.
Right.
Immediately tell the dragon that I have a plan. Obviously,
Okay.
it doesn't enjoy being in there. They were gonna have to do something about me being in there. Otherwise, I don't know.
And what if they didn't?
Then I guess I'd just sit in there until I could cast Blink on my turn, and then I'd leave.
Yeah, it's an Luke's resilient sphere, so no magic can target through it.
I'm disappointed now. Oh well.
It's basically like a bubble of impenetrable force, unless you hit it with like a disintegrate spell.
Why don't we just stick in one of them? Oh.
Because wizards learn it.
And are you not a wizard?
I am level 1 in wizardry.
I've never been so disappointed.
I am a level 1 wizard and I can cast Luke's resilient sphere. Take that. I trap your rats inside of my illusory sphere, because if they bite me, I will still die.
This swarm of rats is too much for me.
Luke's resilient sphere. Take that. Oh, God. No, if you had done that and it wasn't like it, because I was just checking to see if the spell actually like stopped anything like that. If you just teleported into there, how would they know that you're in there?
I don't know, the dragon would.
Right.
I hadn't thought that far ahead. This is totally a jester plan. I don't know what you expect from me.
You're gonna fly into an orb with an adult dragon in it.
Who wouldn't?
What the hell were you gonna accomplish? You can accomplish getting eaten? Like...
We've survived worse. I have faith.
Regardless. Oh, great. What do I have to work with here? I don't have a lot.
Very good.
Let me mark the passage quick. 11 feet or 1,000-ish feet forwards plus intersection. I guess it's a T intersection. No, it's not a T intersection. It's a plus intersection. It's just an intersection, whatever the fuck it's called. T intersection is the one where it's actually like
intersection.
Yeah, a T is where it's only 2 to the left and right. Spiral upwards, tunnel twice. Massive room that's, we'll say, 300 feet in diameter as a sphere. There we go. All right. With that, I am prepared.
Very good. So, Anna.
Yeah, great.
You have been observing.
Mm-hmm.
You know of these giants, these kings of giants, these giant lords, mayhaps?
Yes, these very powerful creatures.
You know of the complete gaffe that Jester may have almost done?
Yes.
Totally in character, though. Can't forget that. You find yourself face to face, kind of, with the giant, the house giant. in sort of a quasi-conversation fight. You regain consciousness, control of the body, on your turn. So Anna, what would you like to do?
I'm not here to fight.
Then why are you here? No one comes here just because they so desire.
I'm a person who solves problems. There's a problem, I came down because of it. And now there's problems here, and I'm here to resolve them. There's no sides.
There are always sides.
And there are those that don't pick them.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Alright. Oh, look at that. I got a +4. That one's a 16.
Not bad.
That one's okay. It's slightly worse. 18 in total.
Still pretty good.
I rolled a 16 and 14.
You can see after he fails to hit Jester with a swing, he gets into he got into a readied stance, and he's kind of lowered his guard just a little bit.
You can tell I'm not normal. I have wings that grant me flight, and I have a face that morphs into what I want. Don't you understand that I'm not normal? A normal person, like you said, wouldn't come down here.
Then what is your purpose of being here?
I'm here to solve a problem. There's a
As you
dilemma on
said.
the surface. That's why I came. I spoke with the drow, and they made paltry remarks against you, and I decided to come investigate myself. I don't know why you're going through what you are. That dragon, the three who seem to fit themselves over everyone else, I don't know what they're doing. But that's why I wanted to talk to you. The others are unintellectual. They're mindless. But you have smarts behind you.
You see he spits on the floor, and it kind of bubbles a little bit on the stone. So we shall talk. He puts his sword away.
Obviously, we
Though
can't
not
talk
here.
in the open. Yeah. Where would be the best place?
He stops for a minute and thinks. My throne.
Agreed. I'll follow from a distance.
He doesn't
I
even
will.
acknowledge you, and he just
Alright.
starts walking.
Cool. I'm gonna hide in the little crevice, and I'm gonna just inch my way with him.
Make a stealth check.
Alright, I'm not the stealthy one here. So, this will be different. Oh, stealth is 2. Nice.
Oh.
8.
My bonus is almost bigger than that.
You know what? Shut up. I got an 11 in history. You want to challenge that?
I have an 11 in deception. I definitely could, and I could bullshit you the entire time.
Shit.
So you follow him, trying to be stealthy, not necessarily doing the best job, but not walking in the open. You walk and you follow him through the tunnels, mostly undisturbed. You see he stops every once in a while, and a odd fire giant will meander through, going wherever. Doesn't say anything. As you're getting closer to the throne, just before the last intersection before it, a fire giant steps out. You can see they have a terse conversation. You don't speak giant, so it kind of just doesn't make any sense to you. But it ends with the armored fire giant backhanding the other one across the face, and he smashes his head into the wall, regains himself, and then goes back the way he came.
Is the other one dead, or is he just
hurt?
He's hurt. Oh fuck! I'm gonna loot the body. No, I'm fucking following him. I'm not staying around.
In common, you hear the armored one yell, or no, he doesn't yell it, but he says under his breath, which almost sounds like a yell to you because it's so fucking loud.
Yeah.
Pathetic. And he continues back to his throne.
I don't know if he's talking to me or if he's talking to him. I'm gonna assume he's talking to him. Alright, yeah, I'm just sticking close.
Okay, so you just follow him. He goes and plops himself down upon the house again. And kind of just sits there, looking out the hallway.
I guess I will fly behind it.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit down. And I'm going to start ritual casting while we talk, comprehend languages.
Okay. Very good.
So in 10 minutes I'll be able to understand giant.
Hey.
What is going on down here? Up near the surface, everyone is bolstered in sweltering heat. Coming below ground, there's a pool of magmatic substance that is summoning these skeletal flaming warriors. What were you tasked with?
The Lords demanded power.
Your lords?
I assume you saw them.
I did. I also saw the powerful entity that they seem to have held captive. Is it a source of power to you all? Or
To them,
whatever? Maybe. I see. I keep going into like a different accent. I need to stop. It's been so long. Then what are you to do?
None of us have the strength to oppose.
Right. They're very imposing.
You can see, here, rather, he clenches his fist, and you can hear him, like, grinding the loose stones that were, like, in his palm. And he slams his fist down on the side of his throne. They have brought us to a place without honor.
This place gives disrespect to honor. Why?
This is not what was intended.
The original plan was changed.
No. The ancient rules were broken.
What were the rules? If I may ask. I'm naive to your culture.
Tell me, small one, what do you know of the ordning?
The ordning?
The ordning?
Ordning.
Yes.
Do I know anything about the ordning?
Make a history check with...
Oh.
No, just make a straight history check.
Oh, yeah! 27.
27. Well, very good. You would know that the
you know
ordning...
nothing.
The Ordning is the ancient code that the giants used to live by back when they were a functioning society, I suppose you could say. Back when they had like their own nations and stuff. It was essentially their rule of law that governed everything from their private lives to their how their nations were run.
So kind of like their form of government, in a way.
Sort of.
Did this affect all giants or just
Everybody?
fighting giants?
Everybody followed
all
it.
Giants. Okay. So all giants followed it. Do I know when it was essentially enacted?
No.
Okay.
You know that it's been around for as long as the giants have been around, but the conception of it, you have no idea.
Far beyond when I was,
It
alive.
predates all other mortal races by quite a bit.
Yeah. Before I was even possibly imagined.
Before Strahd even existed.
Yeah, which is a big step. So, okay. Well, I know that it's what you all lived with. It's how you functioned, made understanding between each other. Governed your private lives and how you functioned as a society.
I am impressed. Sort of.
By naive, I meant that I was unable to confirm anything that I knew. Getting it from a source and getting it straight from you are two different substances.
We are a proud people. But pride easily blinds one to what is right and what is wrong. The Ordning ruled that we, as a people, were to only draw our strength from ourselves and each other, not from these profane rituals.
Do you know what the rituals are for?
I do not.
So drawing power from the dragon to perform a ritual of sorts. Not only is it dishonorable, but goes against the beliefs that all giants once had.
It goes against everything we stood for as a people.
Well, that does seem like something that needs to be resolved. And resolving this would resolve many, many problems that are occurring down here.
Indeed.
We have to start small, though. Clearly they are far greater than anything that you, I, or any of the kind down here can manage. But if we found a way to inhibit it, releasing the dragon, or even if it comes to it, slaying it, would halt them obtaining that power.
But how do you propose we slay a dragon?
Well, how would you normally? I've never done that. But
with great effort and great numbers.
Right. We're two. That's why I'm saying we start small. There are two things that we can do. At this point, do I finish my comprehend languages? Okay, just that way. Just in case there's a conversation that comes up later down the road, so that way I can keep up my comprehend languages. That keep, that drow keep, that is being flooded by magma, they could aid us in accomplishing this if it sides with something that they desire. Can either make up a lie or claim unknowingly, because, in all honesty, neither of us know what this ritual could do, claim that it threatens the Underdark itself. Therefore, they'd feel inclined to help us. But they're not going to do that if the keep is going to be flooded by magma. Is there a way to stop that? The dwarves found a way to siphon magma from the surface portal. Portal or pool of magma, I'm not sure. But they're siphoning magma from it. And as a result, it's halted somewhat the progress that it's made in summoning creatures and doing what it does. Is that where the magma's coming from?
For clarification on my part, coming from what specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you assume it's coming from?
I am assuming it's coming from another plane.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's coming from the elemental plane of fire, considering the fact that everything that's come out of them has been elemental to this point.
The giant kind of... He looks uneasy. As hard as that is to really convey when you're like sitting behind him and you can't really see what he's doing, you can tell that he's uneasy. He keeps shifting around a whole bunch. This ritual spell thing, it is powered by the dragon, as you know.
Right.
To what end, I am uncertain. But I do know that it opens portals or tears or some such to the elemental chaos.
Oh, right, yeah. Elemental chaos. Duh.
Similar,
Anna would have remembered that, but Tyler is an idiot, so...
That is why you deserve that -1 to your intelligence mod, just like me.
But my intelligence modifier is +3.
Disadvantage.
No! I'm gonna need them.
I do not know why, or what they intend to do with such power, but it belongs to no one.
So finding a way to close the rifts in the elemental chaos.
Either that, or, as you said, killing the dragon.
And that would halt the magmatic flow that's going to overthrow the keep.
Entirely. And it would severely diminish the power that those 3 lords hold.
Right, it's going to be necessary to even attempt to confront one of them, let alone 3. So... Alright. Learning that, I am comfortable in my ways of persuading the drow to assist us in this.
It will be a start, but it will not be enough.
It won't. The second option, or second decision, is to have the dwarves ally with us as well.
How many are there?
From what I saw, there was a single encampment at the highest layer that had approximately 15 to 20 dwarven individuals in that one encampment. So if there's several, they also spoke about several, then we can we can round it to possibly 100, but that's also assuming that they all decide to help us. I am capable in my own ways. I can have a defense against the dragon myself, but that's one person. I'm assuming the flames are something that are not going to inhibit you.
Not
the
as
dragon
much as
itself
they
would
you.
be. So,
Tell me, small one.
yes.
What do you know of the giants?
What do I know of the fire giants, your kind in general, or just giants?
Giants in general.
Well, like you said, pride can blind you from right and wrong. If given a path, I would assume they may choose what they decide to be is right and wrong. Apart from knowing, I do not know giant culture by much. I don't even know how many you tend to have in an encampment. But you are all very powerful in your mass. And the elders are the ones that retain they become more intelligent. They foster that belief that the pride and the honor, the ancient rules, the ordering. The elders are the ones that remember it.
And do you know who the eldest the eldest of the giants is?
I want to say the lords, from assumptions.
You are only partially correct.
But I want to assume that there is a deity amongst you that you had followed.
And they abandon us. They forsake our empire. And because of them, we collapsed.
Did that deity perish? Is that what you see as...
I do not know.
Do you know of the deity's name?
Quick read here.
Is he happen to be on the front of a player's handbook by chance?
No? Pretty sure it isn't.
I don't know if this dude looks like a giant.
He is a giant, but I'm pretty sure he isn't their fucking god.
Oh, he looks badass. He's got red eyes.
He is the fire giant King Snewer.
King Snewer. Interesting.
That is the guy on the cover.
Awesome! I called it. Oh, now my dice.
The eldest, the historians amongst our people. I'm not even sure if they still exist. Tell me, do you know of the storm giants?
I've never come in contact.
The ones who walk upon the seabed, lightning crackling at their back.
Do I know anything about storm giants?
You would know they exist. You don't know much about them. They're very, very reclusive, and they are considered to be the most powerful of the giants. There are very, very few of them.
Apart from the fact that they are amongst themselves for the most part, traveling very little, spoken of as some of the most powerful of giant kin. They walk as if they are kings themselves.
It is because they were.
So the storm giant. Okay. So King Snore.
He was our last true king. The last king of the fire giants.
And he is a storm giant.
No, he was a fire giant. He perished.
Oh.
He bowed to the storm giants. The Council of the Seven.
Could.
No.
Oh man.
We all.
No, sorry, I was talking to myself for a second there. I was like, what I had thought of. I'll go over it later on.
Right. Though we may be without honor, I suspect they will still honor the Storm Giant's call.
So... we have an ally in the Storm Giants.
Potentially.
But how
where
do we
to find them, I do not know. They are huge, but not large enough to spot easily. They all hide.
You said that King Snore kneeled to the king of the Storm Giants.
He did. The kings of all the giants knelt before them.
What is the Storm Giant King's name?
Yes, of course. Giant names. Let's go with King Ingvar.
What, Imbar?
Ingvar? I will spell that.
Ingbar. Oh, alright.
There you
Oh. Bar,
yes, of course.
not bar.
Ingvar. Yes.
Ingvar. I see. If I have a name, then I can potentially find him.
We would know if he were to perish.
So then he is alive.
He has to be. The where I could not say.
What I am going to do is I'm going to draw out from our bag of holding the 1,000 gold piece ornate gold mirror that we got before the collapse.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast the 5th level spell, Scrying.
Scrying. Oh boy, here we go.
And I'm going to focus in on King Ingvar.
So the spell save DC for that would be something. Let me look at the spell quick, 'cause I think there's modifiers to it based off of things that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, knowledge.
You've only got second-hand knowledge.
Gotcha.
Would I know of his likeness, though?
You definitely would know of, like, carvings and stuff that have been found of him from, like, their ancient ruins that dot the landscape.
Okay.
You would know how he looks in, like, a stylized rendition. Not how he looks exactly, but close.
Gotcha. Okay.
So basically, He's got a +3 modifier to his already other save.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, the spell save DC is... It's my intelligence proficiency +8. So... 16, because we have that ring that increases our...
16. Okay. He's got a lot. Gonna let that dice sit there for a sec. You reach out. And for a moment, you see the world as you would upon a map. An aerial view down of the whole thing. And slowly,
God.
your vision begins to focus and zoom in. And you find yourself viewing this giant. Large by even giant standards. Sitting in a large stone throne far to the north, far past where Neverwinter used to be, into the frozen barrens that exist past the edge of the map. You can see in his hands he is holding a large boulder, or a rock to him, and with his other hand he is carving something into its surface. It appears to be some sort of flowing script or maybe some runic symbol. You aren't entirely sure.
And that's what I see is in the... Well, at least this imagery is in the... Oh my god, where's that picture of the map that we have? Why can I never find this thing? There it is. Okay. So it's in like the far north winter expanse beyond Neverwinter.
Yep.
I saw him.
The king. He lives. But
He
where?
does. In the northern, far northern winter expanse, beyond where I originated from, possibly the spine of the world. Inside the Icewind Dale, or even beyond it.
So, even after all this time, he has chosen to stay where our kingdom once sat.
It's possible if it's amongst the great glacier. But traveling there is going to be very difficult. And time is of the utmost importance.
Tis not ideal.
No. But we have the knowledge of where he is, and that may be enough to coax someone into aiding us to get there, or just myself.
I cannot leave my position. They would elect someone more ruthless than I, someone who has forsaken our ways.
I imagined. If we have the dwarves, if we have the drow, and we have the storm giants, then overthrowing these 3 corrupt lords of your kin would resolve all the problems and dilemmas that are currently undergoing. I had a thought of what the rituals potentially could be, and as a result, I'm unsure of its result. Unsure if it would be beneficial or not. By generating this much power from an entity that is known as a legend, they may be resurrecting the fallen king, Zuir.
It is entirely possible. But he would not be a giant, he would be a demon.
A demon with the potential to wipe out the other factions.
And cement our place as the rulers of the Ordning.
I understand the giants had a falling out with mankind when they were founded, essentially. Hopefully this would help cement your earnest, but I can't speak for all of the giants.
No. Those who would know and would willingly follow King Ingvar. If he were to reunite our old king with the remnants of his people, I don't think he would ever see a reason to fight against you.
Then this
You'd be saving a people from the brink, preventing apocalypse
and extinction. This is a task not just to resolve the risk of life, but to rehabilitate and reform the giants' kin in society and place them back in a rightful place. This is a task that is going to require much. And I'm willing to go through the length to get this underway. I will find means of travel to King Ingvar. And I will explain exactly what is going to happen without his aid. A dragon of that caliber is going to be mighty, especially if the lords are present with him. That is why the dwarves and the drow will aid in the fight. I am establishing a diplomatic viewpoint. One that will persuade the three sides in joining this.
So you're sitting behind him, right? Kind of like
I'm sitting
between his
behind
back
him
and the wall.
Yeah, and after the scrying, I would have casted Comprehend Languages again, because it's concentration, so I would have lost Comprehend Languages.
For sure. Right. So he gets off his throne, and he kind of like puts his hand beside you, like palm up.
Mm-hmm.
Get in my hand.
I will step into his hand.
Okay.
Does he have any stone on him?
In what regard?
A stone that's large enough to, like, hide me.
I mean, he could just, like, gently close his hand and you'd be fine.
Okay, I was just curious because if he had stone, like a stone armor or something. that I could meld into stone to hide. How weird would that be? You're fighting from inside someone's armor piece.
That'd be pretty fun. Let's be real here. That'd be insane.
That'd be awesome, though. I'm invisible. Anyways, continue.
So he holds you in his palm. He gets down on one knee, holds you up to your level with his head. Small one, you are with honor. And he bows to you.
I give a bow back. Of all that I've seen down in this Underdark, you have the most honor amongst all entities that I have seen and spoken with. The Drow have their petty arguments with the dwarves, and the dwarves have this mindless belligerence. You're the most cognitive and honorable.
I thank you for your kind words.
They're but the truth. Truth is just kind, as it turns out. With what I've learned, I will go back to the Drow. I doubt that there can be a lot that you would be able to manage from here. So, keep out of their view.
I will do what I can to hinder them and not draw attention to myself.
I figured that's what you've been doing, so...
The other giants are loyal to them first, and me second.
I gathered. I'm going to go towards the Drow now and establish an understanding. They'll need to have forces here to still contain those giants that are putting siege onto the keep. Not endangering it, but being enough to roadblock them. I have ways of traversing over and speaking to them. So I'm going to go do this before anything gets worse.
He kind of gives you like a silent nod. Fight well, small one.
Well, I don't intend to fight yet, but...
He rolls his eyes.
I unfurl my wings and I just take off. I'm gonna stealth.
Okay, stealth check.
Ooh, dirty 20.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, you effortlessly make your way back to the Drow Keep. You fly up above, I assume, out of reach.
No, I'm gonna go in between their legs and spiral up to their face, sneeze on them, and then go in. No,
Very good.
I'm flying over their face. I'm flying way over their heads.
I'm going with you said before, so roll
No.
acrobatics check.
This is shit.
You fly up and over. You land on the upper battlements again. The same Drow who were there when you first landed there are still there.
Oh, great.
As you've only been gone maybe an hour.
Oh yeah, I suppose, huh?
And they take you back down to the war room. In the room now is only the person that Jester had a disagreement with, the woman with the ponytail, and the two who brought you down. The woman stands up and kind of runs her armored hand through her hair. Yes. I assume you have good news, otherwise you wouldn't be back here.
I have news. And for the most part, it is good. The remaining of it is more of a query. We halted the progress of the magmatic flow through its main exhaust. How long that will last, and how long that will slow it by, is undetermined, but we have learned that it is currently in its state going to continue to rise regardless. And that's where the query comes in. The fire giants are attempting a ritual. They're doing something and drawing power from a powerfully legendary creature, a massive red dragon.
You can see her brow furrows and she clenches her fists and leans heavily on the table.
They're attempting to use the power for something. As a result, they're creating magmatic energy. And they're able to flow it into here endlessly. So stopping it can only occur by removing their power. If we remove the fire dragon from its state of imprisonment, or slay it, which may have to come to, as it's been agitated, locked away for however long, it's going to retaliate to anything and everyone. We need the assistance of many groups. I have spoken with a fire giant.
You can see everybody in the room, draws their weapons, and they all point them at you.
I don't flinch. I've gathered the information that I have because of him. I wouldn't have made it back here if I didn't learn of these. He does not follow them. He sees them as rule breakers, law destroyers, ruining of the ordning. And he informed me of a possibility that gives us this opening to release and slay that dragon and bring about the end of the possible destruction of the Underdark itself. But I need all possible forces to aid in this, as it may result in a fight with 3 fire giant lords that have been drawing the power from this legendary creature, and the red dragon itself. If we fail, then the Underdark will be swayed and turned into the home of these fire giants.
And I assume if we do nothing, the same will occur, yes?
Precisely. We have one option, and that's to work in unison. Maybe not together, maybe not even as a truce, but in unison.
You can
Otherwise,
see
nothing will work.
She looks away from you and back down at the table that has all the maps on it. And the one that Jester had an argument with kind of storms towards the table and goes, "You can't be seriously going to accept these terms, can you? She..." And before he can finish his sentence, the woman who was leaning on the table, almost faster than you could see, draws a knife from her belt and throws it with pinpoint precision at his neck. He gurgles on his own blood and then falls over dead.
Are we in agreement then?
Of course. To do nothing would be disaster. And this story is far too outlandish to be a lie. You will have our support.
Alright. It may not be now, maybe in some time. As I said, we halted the progress of the flow, and potentially can continue to do that with whatever little magics I have. The largest task in front of us is receiving the aid from the storm giants, far north, possibly even in the Great Glacier.
I didn't even know they still existed.
I've seen it. That's why I've been able to travel alone and accomplish these promising goals. I've grown, as I would like to say, powerful within those times. And I know of their existence. I have seen it. And it's in the far north winter landscape. That's possibly the mountains, that's possibly the Great Glacier, I'm unsure. But where it is not what matters. It's how to get there.
I do not have much in the way of armaments or supplies that I can give to you, but I can offer you the assistance of one of my finest, if you would accept.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm going to need as much to accomplish this travel as I can.
She locks eyes with one of the two that brought you down, and she nods at them, and they nod at her, and then they take off at one of the side doors. You have proven yourself to be quite resourceful. 'Tis refreshing for a change. Many, like him, and she gestures to the dead guy on the floor with the knife still in his neck, they prefer to speak instead of act.
Proving oneself rather than talking and boasting about it is much more efficient.
I knew when I first met you we'd get along, and I'm glad to see I was correct in that assumption.
I'm glad as well. Considering if it wasn't, then I'd bet I'd be the same one on the floor over there.
Maybe. Maybe the wall. I hadn't quite decided. You can see there's like a small hint of a smile on her face.
I guess I'll wait until whoever they bring help aids us, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they're waiting on us to go get them or if they're bringing them up here.
So yeah, you wait a couple minutes. Kind of just awkwardly standing in silence. The woman has nothing else to say to you.
So what's the Underdark like? It doesn't get good weather. How's the Wi-Fi?
The one guy who brought you down, who is still in the room, is like, well, the weather's okay. We don't really get rain or anything down here. Wi-Fi is pretty shit, I must say.
I bet. It stops even when I step into the bathroom. This is stupid. This is so dumb.
After a few more minutes of this dumb conversation about cave Wi-Fi, the other soldier comes back with a drow woman. She is wearing robes. Wow, capitals as well. Very nice.
Well, yeah, I gotta make sure I make marks.
She's wearing these robes with like silver inlay and stuff on them. Large silver necklace around her neck. She has on the robe, it appears to be embroidered with like spider webs.
Oh. Does she look like a priest?
Maybe.
Oh my.
The ponytailed woman stands up. This is Kaylin. She is one of our most successful operatives, I suppose you could say. She will be accompanying you. And Kaylin kind of gives her this weird look. And the The woman doesn't return the stare. Whether she wants to or not.
Well, Kalen, thank you for your compliance in the circumstances. I know it's going to be confusing, but I will explain once we...
exactly given a choice, but it doesn't matter. I will go prepare, and then I guess I will find you here.
Yes. My name is Anna.
Pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you.
Caitlin leaves.
Okay.
Do some more waiting. The woman does tell you, Caitlin is indeed a priestess. Though more in the sense of a like a figurative role, not like a literal priestess.
Not like an actual priestess.
No, it would be like it's a role she puts on.
Gotcha. So like takes the position of priestess, but not an actual priest.
No.
Gotcha.
She comes back after a few minutes. You can see that she's in like rather expensive looking traveling clothing, and she is wearing armor on top of it.
Oh, great.
Studded leather.
Ooh, studded leather, you say? Is she a monk? No, she wouldn't be wearing leather if she was a monk.
Suddenly you see her running up walls and stuff, running on water.
She punches spider webs out of her hands. I don't understand how. She can fly. She flies by kicking the air.
Impressive.
Alright. Well, Kaylin, there's a lot to explain, and I will explain them. What are you capable of, first and foremost?
Many things. I am rather well acquainted with a bow myself.
What about flight?
Flight? It's outside of my wheelhouse, I will admit.
What about hiding in a small hole? And I'm going to throw down the portable hole onto the ground.
This is not the worst conditions I've ever seen. And
it's
she
quite
willingly gets into the hole.
Great. She will probably resent that decision later. Once we do it for like the 30th time in a day. Great. I fold it up. Chuckle softly, like this is happening again. I look at the ponytailed leader, I suppose, the one in charge. I'm going to go speak to the dwarves and get their alliance, and then I will find passage to the storm giant.
I'd wish you luck, but luck is for those who aren't consummate professionals, isn't it?
I think to myself, I suppose you're right, yeah. Yes. And I will stealthily fly off.
Okay, so the one leads you back upstairs, and then Ponytail commands the other person to pick up the dead guy and get rid of him.
Awesome.
So you go back up to the battlements, and you fly off. Towards the dwarves, I assume?
Yes, I'm gonna stealth my way back towards the entrance, I suppose.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Alright. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna use my channel divinity as well to get proficiency in stealth.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. I did, because that would have sucked. That turned a 12 into a 16.
Very good. Let me roll a couple times here. Yeah, you're fine. You make it. There's a couple close run-ins with a couple fire giants just kind of meandering through the tunnels. No one sees you.
Oh. I'm going to attempt.
Off of the alarm I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was already opening my phone to check how long the alarm was, and as a result, I hit the button right as it triggered, so it turned off the alarm.
Amazing.
So it was on for maybe a nanosecond. I'm gonna attempt to retain control.
Go for it.
That is a natural 20.
I got a 17, so GG.
That's incredible. That's the only natural 20 I've rolled on both ends of like the DM and this. Awesome. I'll take it. All right, 5 more minutes. I'm gonna fly off towards the dwarves. Before getting all the way out, though, I'm gonna check in with Kaylin. How are you doing inside there?
I spent 2 days inside of a Rimmerhaz. This is quite refreshing, if I'm being completely honest with you.
All right, well, great, because this is a very plausible use for travel.
I get to kick back and do nothing. It's very good.
Fair enough. All right, and then I'm just gonna flap on up to the dwarves.
Okay, so you make your way back up to where you left them. I don't fucking remember any of their names.
We didn't actually get any names from them.
Good. That one guy is dead. I remember that. They threw him into the lab.
It's not that he's dead. We don't know that. But I mean, to be fair, he's probably dead.
Probably.
Or at least extremely maimed. Like, dunked in lava.
You make your way back up to the top of the tunnels.
Oh, God. Might have been better if he was just dead.
You can see in the corner, as soon as you step in, the most noticeable change is a pile of rocks with a little, like, headstone.
Oh.
You can see one dwarf is crying.
Oh, I feel bad now.
Do you, though?
I mean, enough to where Anna cares.
Wow.
Tyler doesn't, but...
Wow. Anna, you softy.
Anna doesn't like the loss of life. Especially considering how recent other things have occurred.
Fair enough. It's been like a day, a week.
It's been like 3 weeks, I think, because we traveled by boat. And then we also had to fly down using...
Still pretty recent for a genocide, though. Let's be real here.
Yeah, you know, for an entire city's explosion, I would say that I'm going to need a little bit more than a month.
The death of the populace of 2 cities.
Yeah, I'm going to need a little bit more than a month. Anyways.
You see the leader of this band of misfits kind of standing, watching the dwarf cry. Sees you enter.
I'm gonna go over to the biggest, the one that I talked to the most last time.
I see you've come back.
I have something important to demand.
Aye, making demands now, are we? That's the way.
I know what the fire giants are doing. They are drawing power from that creature that you spoke of, the one with the screeching. What they have taken hold of is a legendary red dragon.
Well, shit on me mom's grave.
Its power is enough to dwarf, and I don't mean that as a pun, everyone that stands here.
You see one of the dwarfs laugh when you say that because of the pun. Then the wizard guy slaps him.
Good. And there's only one option to preventing that from happening, as they will then turn the entire Underdark into their living quarters, wiping out you, the drow, and anything that remains in the Underdark. That's why I'm saying there's only one option. We are building a force to retaliate and slay their source of power. If we do that, they have no means of accomplishing their goals, and then as a result, if we slay the 3 lords that have taken root and broken the oath of giants, we may reinstate the giants as a civilization once again. An ally.
Giants don't follow any rules.
They do. It's just the corrupt ones don't.
Make,
There's a fire giant that I
make
know.
a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Alright, that's fine. Okay. That is 15.
15. You know what? That's exactly what you needed for this.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to retain concentration again.
Do it.
Or attempt to. Okay. That's a 10, but that's a second 10, so 10.
13. I'm sorry.
Oh, nope, that's fine. I got what I wanted to at least say.
Oh, God.
Phew. Great. Grand. Yeah.
What? It wasn't that bad.
No. Honestly, we're in a better boat than I would assume.
I was not very... What's the word? Impressed isn't the right word. Enthralled, I guess. I didn't really have much faith in the story of this arc. I'm like, this is far too similar to, the other two.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going on, like, a quest to fix a shattered people to prevent catastrophe. That's pretty baller. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
Yeah, we're literally bringing a society to light in a better way. Rather than just saving civilization, we are resurrecting a nation.
I'm very happy. Very happy with
I
where
am
this
too.
is going.
Yeah, I had the plan for the Red Dragon. I remember when we first started and you were just like, so what are you going to do with these dwarves? And that was before we even finished the last arc. I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I had the Red Dragon plan from that point.
Well, I wasn't expecting it, so you got me there.
Yeah. I'm excited though. No joke though, I'm honestly certain that with the spells that I have, I can survive with a dragon for a while.
Good for you. I can't.
Well, no,
Inflict wounds.
I said survive, not win the fight. I'm certainly not sticking around, but if I was being attacked, I would be able to live and run away.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I haven't had to use it yet. Like I said, I've gone full defensive. I've got 2 spells on hand that will secure my safety.
Good. At least one of us has to play defensively.
Both of the spells came from the wizard spell list, so
Oh, really?
I had a reason. I had a reason going to wizard. I wanted 3 specific spells.
Interesting.
Yep. All 3 of them were in the wizard spell list. And then I just took Chromatic Orb because it's just cool.
It's a
like,
fun
why
spell.
not? Yeah, why not? It's a little bit better than Guiding Light in comparisons to certain things for elemental purposes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it felt so good to play again.
It did. It's been far too long.
It has been. I mean, to be fair, with everything going on,
It's been a shit show.
It's been filled with stress. So
I'm up for another episode, though, if you are.
I am as well.
Ooh.
Benefit of starting earlier than 1.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It is only midnight here, so I'm good to go for quite a while.
Oh right, yeah, you're an hour behind us now.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's honestly much better in time frame wise. We just need to stop doing the fucking time switching garbage.
Yeah, it's
Daylight
not
savings.
worth it.
It's at this point, I get it. I'm just what is it realistically doing?
I don't know. Someone could, provide an actual realistic purpose for why it exists. I'd be like, okay, cool. But
there is a legitimate reason for it. The legitimate reason, which I didn't know about until this year, This could be completely wrong, but it involved affecting it, because the way that it was that the reason that it is so there's more day, essentially. Otherwise, time would get super funky, and for like half the year, it would still be dark for an hour. So the purpose of it was for farmers specifically, because their workload and their work time is very constrained into a specific time frame that they function. So if it's dark out, it makes it more difficult for them to do their job.
I see. Suffer like the rest of us. That's what I say to them.
But then you'll be suffering because there's no fucking food.
What am I going to do without bread and canola oil? Oh no.
But that was, again, an extremely long time ago. Now everything's with technology and everything. It doesn't necessarily matter anymore. But that was why it was created, at least how I was told. It could be wrong, like I said, but
At least it served a purpose then. Now it's kind of like,
yeah, now it's meh.
I don't know. We only get like maybe 5 hours of sunlight here in the winter anyway, so.
Well, yeah, but you're Canada.
Canada.
Canada. All right. Anyways, thank you everyone so much for watching. This was fun. I'm feeling super happy to be able to play again.
Oh,
I get to look
yes.
at my character sheet. The one character sheet I've ever made. Because it's the only character I will play. I don't know.
Funny
Calvin
you
was
should
talking about
say.
possibly doing a campaign, so I'd play a
Ooh.
character in that.
Oh my.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Anyways, thank you everyone, and we'll see you again on another Double Time.
Goodbye.